It's good. No. All right. You ready? Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Heavily Contested Podcast, the podcast where...
Guess who's back? Back again. The King! LeBron James is going to play tonight.
Yes. So while we are filming this, the NBA season will officially start tonight with two games. The first one being the Bucks versus the Nets. A good game.
I think it's an okay game.
And the Warriors versus the Lakers.
Big L's.
The night game.
Lake Show, baby.
And this will be an interesting way to start the season here with two interesting games. The Warriors are a team that's extremely hyped up this year. Finally expecting to make that big move that everyone's been predicting.
I don't think they're hyped up this year. I think they suck.
No, so they have been hyped up, which I agree with. And then you have the other team, the Bucks versus the Nets, a rematch of that conference matchup.
So Kyrie's not playing in this game, right?
Nope. So the official wording is right now, as Kyrie has not gotten vaccinated, he will not play any game for the Brooklyn Nets, not just home games.
No games
anymore,
at all.
because Brooklyn just won't fully let him participate whatsoever.
Yeah, because then if he gets other people sick, they might have to forfeit some games.
They don't want to. They don't want to take the risk.
Yeah. Okay.
So you're not going to take the risk with that. So, I guess what we're going to do is, because we're a weekly episode show, so we're not going to be able to go over every single NBA game as it happens throughout the week. But every NBA week starts every Tuesday, which is the days that we film. So we're going to give our weekly predictions. So throughout the entire week, not just the games happening tonight, not just the games happening tomorrow. It's throughout the entire week. How will the NBA take shape? So let's start with you, Travis. How is the NBA going to take shape in week one?
So, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of great players that come into this league every single year.
Of course,
right?
100%.
And, I've already demonstrated how I feel about the Rockets. I'm going to start off with them. They're going to be a sleeper team. In the first week, they might not win, but they will be close in their games, and you will be like, ooh, like Jalen Green. You've seen that Odell catch that he had earlier in the preseason, and I think he's going to continue to keep showing glimpses of how amazing he could be. That's first off. We also, Josh Christopher, he's just going to be the little hype dude. He's not going to score too many points, but he's going to be one of those dudes that gives a lot of energy because of the big blocks and big dunks that he's going to have.
Okay.
So look out for the Rockets.
Okay. I like that.
That's my first one.
Okay.
Next one. I think Giannis is going to be great this year. And he's going to start out strong.
Thank you.
But the Bucks aren't going to win games, though.
Okay.
This is what I'm saying. I feel like Giannis is going to be great. But at the same time, I feel like the other pieces are very inconsistent.
I would agree.
And P.J. Tucker is not on the team anymore. So
which they lose a defensive weapon there with P.J.
Defense is going to be lacking on the Bucks. And I feel like teams are going to score a lot on them. And you need someone like P.J. Tucker when you go against the Nets.
Okay.
So that's my two biggest ones.
You got one more?
I do got one more, but I kind of want to hear what you got to say.
Okay, you want to hear what I want to say?
And then I'm going to tell you my last one.
So, woo, I definitely have a little bit more bold than you. The first one, Donovan Mitchell will start out as the MVP favorite through week one.
Wow, Donovan Mitchell.
I don't think it's too bold. In the end, the Utah team is a strong collective team, but in the end, the main anchor that holds them together is Donovan Mitchell. What he does as a scorer, in the lane, and he's actually improved as a three-point shooter and also as a playmaker throughout his career. You could see through the stat lines, he started off with 20 points per game, 23 points per game, 24 points per game, and then this past season, 26.4 points per game. I expect that to jump up in week one to 30 points per game.
I feel like
to start it off.
I've never been a believer in the Jazz.
Okay. See, it doesn't have to be a believer in the Jazz, though. It's Donovan Mitchell.
You gotta win games to win MVP.
Oh, but see, here's the thing: the Jazz, I'm checking by their schedule, don't have the hardest schedule to start off
Yeah.
the season. You know, they play the Kings and a couple other teams like that, so it's not like it's a...
Don't sleep on the Kings, man. Don't sleep on the Kings. I have De'Aaron Fox as one of my most improved players this year. You sleeping on the Kings?
Dude, the Kings are not going to be a playoff team this year. In the end, despite De'Aaron Fox and everything else, they're not a playoff team.
They're not.
Yeah, exactly.
But don't sleep on them though. But they can still beat
Why
some.
am I gonna wake? Why do I gotta wake up if they just gonna be?
They can still beat some teams.
No,
man.
but okay. So yes, the Kings are viable, but in the end, the Jazz were the 1 seed last year for a reason. It's when they get hot, they do look like the best team in the NBA on many occasions.
Very well coached.
Yes, very well coached team. I do love their coach. I think again, what I said about the Jazz before is they rely too much on that 3-point shot, much like 2018 and 2017 Rockets, to the point where if the shots aren't falling, they're dead in the water. You know what I mean? It's over for them. But I think they're a well enough coached team that they're still going to be one of those top teams in the NBA, and I think Donovan Mitchell is going to be one leading the charge, being in that MVP candidacy. Like I said, though, earlier in episodes, I don't think he's going to win MVP, but I do think early on he's going to be talked about as the heavy MVP favorite through week one. My next one. The Warriors will start off 2-0, which means two things. The Warriors will beat the 2 LA teams to start off the season. They'll beat the Clippers and they'll beat the Lakers opening night. Now, we'll find, I guess by the time you guys see this episode, you'll know if this prediction is right or wrong in any place. But also, I want to go on to this fact. If the Warriors actually do start off 2-0, it also means that the Warriors are probably going to finish off the week undefeated, highly likely, seeing that they got the two heaviest opponents out the way early on. The reason why I say this is because I think the Warriors now have brought back that depth and that strength in numbers mentality that made them so good in 2016. 2016, 2015. The difference between those Warrior teams versus the super team, which you would say, is that super team was mainly hinging on Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson as your main scorers. And then you had Andre Iguodala and Draymond Green assisting in the other assets of the game. And you had a couple of standout guys coming off the bench here. Go ahead. You want to interrupt me? Go ahead.
I'm just wondering. So they're going to beat the Clippers.
Yes. Clippers without Kawhi. Remember, Kawhi Leonard only comes back probably at the end of the year.
And they're going to beat the Lakers.
They're going to beat the Lakers.
Who is going to be the second scorer on the Warriors?
Jordan Poole.
Who's going to be the third scorer on the Warriors?
Who's going to be the third scorer?
Yeah, the third scorer on the Warriors.
Kuminga.
Who?
We got 2 first-round picks for a reason.
No. You said the third scorer is going to be Jonathan Kuminga? Okay, guys. This is my last day here, guys. I appreciate you guys watching the channel for so long and being
this is a farewell party for Travis, because
if the Lakers lose tomorrow, I'm not showing up for the next episode. This will just be Dro up in here.
It'll be the Dro show finally.
But I definitely
well, why don't you think the Warriors have a chance? This was the
part why I didn't say my last week. I knew you were gonna say something dumb about the Warriors.
Go ahead.
I think that the Warriors are going to compete with teams. Keyword: compete. But that is only because besides Steph Curry, they're very young. So the regular season means
they've been young for a while. At some point, okay, understand too. We've been talking about this Warriors team like, oh, they're young. They got these players, they're developing. At some point, they're going to develop, right? They're not going to be at the age of 30 now and still developing and still
I understand
getting into shape. I think this is the year where we see guys take leaps, especially Jordan Poole. And we have a bunch of other young guys coming off of this bench. Draymond Green also leading the charge, who was very underrated last year. Draymond Green's always underrated, technically. He really is, because Draymond.
I think he's overrated.
No, see, because Draymond does things in the game that are much bigger than just scoring too.
I don't think Draymond's
He's a great defender, and he's a great playmaker. He's a great facilitator. He's the one that usually brings the ball down the field. He's down the floor. But he's a smart player. He's one of the smartest basketball players out there.
No, he is very useful. Like any team would love to have a Draymond Green. Thing I hate is that every single year, the Warriors find ways to get hype beasts on them And they almost got Zaza Pachulia in the All-Star game. They almost got Zaza Pachulia in the. Let me hear it.
And he should have got in. He had votes.
You see, guys, this is what I'm talking about. This dude, that dude couldn't score. Draymond can't score.
Okay, but how the entire roster of the Warriors has been young and developing for years, and you're expecting them to not make jumps whatsoever?
What I'm saying is, I think that they will compete with teams, but they don't have the same talent level as other teams. And they're going to care more about the regular season because their bodies are a little bit younger. So they can win games. So I won't be surprised if they have a great regular season record. But
Andrew Wiggins is back as well. Andrew Wiggins, who looked good as a defender last year.
Okay, defender.
As a defender. Draymond Green on the defensive end. Andre Iguodala is back. And Andre Iguodala, even at his age, is still a solid defender. He's not the scorer that he once was. But he's a solid defender. So I think our defense is going to be there. I really do. I just
don't think there's much help besides Steph, and Jordan's a little bit there. But besides that, I don't see much.
Juan Toscano.
Who?
Kevon Looney. You heard his name before.
Why are we saying his name?
Because he's a guy. He's a viable player.
Do you have any other points, Joe?
No, because we see Looney's name be mentioned before in the finals when DeMarcus Cousins was out, even in the Rockets series. He's a viable center. He's viable.
Do you have any other points, Joe?
Okay, here we go. Warriors will start off 2-0. My last point. Giannis will start from 40% from three-point range.
40? Oh, you're being real bold.
If you watch the preseason, Giannis has been on fire from mid-range and from three-point range. If you watch the highlights too, it has been a much smoother jump shot. As you know,
He's been working on it.
Giannis is very robotic with how he takes the shot. It's been much more smoother, much quicker.
I think he actually is a robot. I don't think he was born.
And I heard a couple people told me this, which I 100% agree with, but it's the idea too that now that they got the championship, they got the monkey off their back. You know, Giannis got that talk, that debate that he's not that true number one guy. He's got that off the bat. He can relax a little more. They're going to play a little more confident with a little bit much more swagger. You know what I mean?
Still feel like it wasn't a quality ring, but
it's a ring.
It's a ring.
It's a ring. It's a ring. Who gives a fuck about God, dude, this is the second episode in a row. I'm so sorry, guys, but who cares about quality? Because people talk about the Lakers ring like, oh, you know, it's a Mickey Mouse ring, but we're not talking about that, right?
That's not the same quality as this one.
Why not? Why not? Many teams were put in weird situations, and many teams fell off because of the bubble.
The difference in this one, I feel like, is because a bunch of teams were injured. In the Laker one, it was just that the Clippers didn't beat the team that they were supposed to beat. That's not their fault.
Oh no, but it's
injuries
more.
It's
the sense of the bubble was a different environment, though.
Harder environment.
So
that's what I'm saying. So the push through, I think it's the hardest ring of all time.
No, Jesus.
Besides, LeBron has two of the hardest rings of all time: the 3-1 and the bubble.
Either way.
We'll leave it alone, though.
Either way, yeah. But I do think that this Bucks team winning a championship now is going to come with a little bit of, you know, they're going to be feeling themselves a little bit.
That's why I said they're going to struggle. But I think Giannis will be great.
In the end, me personally, I think this Bucks team is going to come out a little more fired up too, just as a whole. Remember, it wasn't just Giannis who won the championship; it was the entire team.
Drew Holiday.
They're all going to have confidence, and Drew Holiday's confidence is through the roof right now with his playoff performance defensively.
Just won a gold medal,
and now he's not. Yeah, just won a gold medal, and now he's also not going to be going against Kyrie. So point guard's a little bit of a mismatch right now.
Ooh, yeah.
Patty Mills probably who's going to be starting for Brooklyn. It's not the same. It's not the same. In the end, Drew Holiday, we could say, is a top 10 point guard.
He's the best defender.
And best point guard defender right now, right? So, mismatches. And you know, they got the Heat the next game. I do expect them to take down the Heat. In a close one, though. That one's going to be much closer. But those are my three.
Yeah.
Do you want to give any?
I also want to speak on the MVP thing.
Okay. Who do you think might be?
Mine is going to be Luka.
That's a no one can really argue with that choice.
I'm going to go with Luka. But if you want to go with a sleeper.
Okay.
I'm going to go with a sleeper here.
Give me.
Are you ready for the sleeper?
I'm ready.
I said Kevin Durant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know what I'm saying? That's what my end of the season is. But to begin the season,
yes,
besides Luka, like I said, it's gonna sound crazy. Going with De'Aaron Fox.
Okay, no.
Listen to me. I'm telling you this right now. De'Aaron Fox is gonna go off in his first week.
They're not gonna win games, bro.
That's not gonna matter.
You just said that about Donovan Mitchell. Does that now matter?
But I thought you were talking about at the end of the season. Beginning of the season, they don't really care about the wins. So, De'Aaron Fox, I think he's gonna score at least
wins
30
still
to
matter,
40.
bro.
That's my
De'Aaron
bold
Fox will be 0-5 probably.
That's my bold one, bro.
Then you start questioning. Just the whole point is, well, yeah, he's playing great, but the team's not winning.
That's my bold one, bro. I'm gonna say De'Aaron Fox is gonna.
In the end, okay. In the end, let's just compare it to. In the end, you said, would you agree that Steph Curry had a better season than Nikola Jokic last year? Seeing the strides and the plays
and the team that he had,
with the team that he had, his performance.
Steph played better
compared to Jokic with the team that he had, right?
Steph played better than he did, but Jokic won more. Yeah, and I
agree with you. De'Aaron Fox is severely underrated, and he could definitely make big moves this year. But I don't think that Kings team as a whole is ready to make moves. They're young, and believe me, they're gonna at some point finally make that step up. It's just not this year. For me, it's not this year.
We'll see what happens.
Okay.
But it's gonna be an entertaining week.
Entertaining week of basketball. This is where sports come into its best time. We got October baseball going on. We got the Houston Astros versus the Boston Red Sox going on. We have the Dodgers versus the Atlanta Braves, which I believe is also happening at the time that we are filming this, with Atlanta having a 2-0 lead. So, great for baseball. Hockey is coming back too. Hockey's also.
Oh my
Travis
God,
doesn't.
Hockey, bro.
See, Travis is really just for being a sports fan has not given himself enough room to expand to other sports.
The only good thing about hockey is that they get to fight each other. That's the only reason why I buy the games.
Either way, we're getting to a great time of the year. We got football, basketball, hockey, baseball all going on. It's the big four right now in American sports, all happening right now.